Did you know that you can get paid to own a camper van or RV?
And if you're new here, we're James and Deanna, and we help you take your van or RV and turn it into a passive and thriving rental business so that your rig can actually pay for itself, your adventures, and more. And in this video, we're going to answer all of your questions about RV rentals and how you can get started yourself. But first, subscribe and give this video a thumbs up because it lets the algorithm know you're interested in this and it really helps us out as well. And stick around to find out what to do if something goes wrong while your renters are on their trip, and we'll be answering them all here.
So what we did is we took the questions that you guys submitted on Instagram and we wrote the 6 most popular ones behind us, and we're gonna rip them off one by one and answer them. And if you have any other questions, feel free to drop them below.
All right, should we get this
ready?
started?
Okay, so I just rip it off. Let's start with this guy. What rig is best for rentals?
Okay.
It landed in my seat.
So I wouldn't say there's just one specific rig that's best for rentals. There are so many different types, and all of those different types of rigs are able to be rented out. So if you have a rig, you can just start with the rig you have. It's able to be rented out. But if you are looking for a business just to be profitable, I would keep in mind that a lot of renters are new to RVing. So they don't have a lot of experience with really big rigs to drive them, or complicated systems or anything. So you're gonna have a smaller pool of renters with the bigger RVs. But it is important to do research in your area, because say you have a lot of families in your area with a lot of kids, they might want those bigger RVs so they can have more space for all the kids. So it definitely depends on your area. I would do research. Same with even the terrain in your area. If you have like a lot of off-roading, you can get a 4x4. So that's when it would be specific to your area. For us, we've found a sweet spot with the camper vans. You can still fit, 2 to 4 people, but it is like really easy to drive. It's beginner friendly. It fits in a normal parking spot. And as far as like getting a rig, if you don't have one already, besides like an RV dealership, there are a few good sites out there. There's RV Trader. Vanlife Trader is what we've actually sold a few vans on. They also have the builder section. So if you want a van built out, they have the builder section you can check out. And we've actually bought and sold multiple vans on Facebook Marketplace. We found a lot of good options on there. So you can check Facebook Marketplace in your area, but also expand the radius. So if it's worth driving a little further, if you find one, make sure to check other states as well. But we also have a acquiring your rig checklist. It's a checklist we use before we get a van that checks everything that you need to know to make sure you're not missing anything important. So we can link that for you below.
Ready for the next one?
Yes. Okay. So let's see. Let's do this one. Where do I list my van for rent?
Right, so if you're gonna list your van, you're gonna wanna find a platform that's specific for RVs and camper vans. The good news is there's a lot out there, like Outdoorsy, there's RV and Go, RV Share, GoCamp if you have a camper van. So those are some of the main popular ones. I'll list them below in the description so you can check them out. So how it works is most of these platforms, they take a percentage, usually between 20 to 25%. And that may seem like a lot at first, but it's totally worth it because they cover things like insurance, they have the calendar built in, they have all the contracts that you need, communication with the renters. So there's a lot of great features in the platforms.
Yeah, and that's why you wanna go with an RV rental platform, because with the insurance, that's something that Airbnb wouldn't cover. That's specific for RVs. So that's why it's good to go. And they also have the customer bases. So this way you don't have to advertise to the world. Everyone's already looking for the rentals and you have it listed on the sites. All right, should we do the next one?
Yes, my turn.
Okay.
This one.
Okay.
What if something goes wrong during a trip?
Okay, so this is definitely one of the most common questions. And we were concerned when we first started out, but what we ended up doing was we created emergency action plans for us and for our renters. So we thought about everything that could go wrong, and we have step-by-step instructions that we give the renters even before their trip. So if something does come up, they know exactly what to do. They have the numbers to call, they have our contact information, and it gives us a lot more peace of mind and them a lot more peace of mind. And then we also tried to think of all the supplies that they would need. So whether that's first aid kit or spare tire or jack, we make sure that they are stocked with everything that they need. So it makes us feel a lot better. But you might be thinking about insurance or accidents. And actually with all of the years we've been renting, we only had one minor accident. And because we had the right insurance strategy in place, we actually had the money deposited into our account the next day, and it more than covered the cost to fix everything. So should we get to the next one?
Yes.
I want to do in between these two. What do you do about insurance? Perfect timing.
So like we were saying before, the insurance is done through the platforms, which is very convenient. How it works is when the customer's checking out, they're given the option of what package that they want to choose. And usually the more that they pay for a package, the lower the deductible it is that when something actually goes wrong. But I wanted to let you know that the customer does take care of the insurance, so that's not an extra cost to you. Also, it's important to note that the coverage that the customer pays for only protects them during the trip. So you want to make sure you're protected before and after the trip. So you can check with your insurance to see if that's something they do. I do know that Roamly is the company that Outdoorsy uses, so we'll link them below, but they definitely cover you before and after and during the trip, so check out Roamly.
And before we get to the last two, our next video is on the 5 most common mistakes to avoid and what to do instead, so make sure to watch that after this.
Ready for the next one?
Yes.
Do this.
See?
How do I know if I'm in a good area for a rental business?
So there's definitely pros and cons to different areas. Some areas might be a little more busy or more of a hot spot, but the great thing is that there's actually successful RV rentals all across the country and worldwide. And the great thing about RVs is that they are mobile. So even if you feel like your area doesn't have, you know, all the bells and whistles that everybody's visiting, the people in those areas do want to go see all of those popular places, so they can still rent from you, but then be able to drive to those places. All right, ready for the last one?
Yep.
Here we go. And is my rig nice enough to rent out?
Yes. So it might actually be surprising, but the most profitable rentals aren't always the nicest or most expensive.
Yeah.
A lot of times some of the mid-range ones can do really well if they focus on enhancing the overall experience.
So it could be add-ons. It can be things like a hammock or an espresso machine, and you highlight that in your listing, and they're like, oh my gosh, they have everything, a whole setup to make my iced lattes on the road. And so this way they can get more of that experience that they might not be able to get with the other rigs, even if it's not the nicest. And if you're wanting to get more bookings, go back and watch the first video if you haven't already. And if you have, then we have the next video coming up, which is the 5 mistakes to avoid and what to do instead. So we will see you in that one. Bye.
Bye.